fine. But I get it though. I used to be the same, but now I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, right, it's more about what I'm saying rather than how I look, right? It's like I'm not trying to date you. I'm trying to we're trying to have a conversation, you know. So
I mean, you always look good, bro. You always look good with your jacket and stuff.
Yes, you're making me blush. I was actually I spent the whole day today because I've been so busy since I woke up. I spent the whole day in my pajamas and a hoodie all day. I didn't have time for a shower until I think about an hour and a half ago. Like I've just been sat there working. So for me, yeah, the suits are great, but it's after I have a shower. Normally that's in the morning, but not today. So perfect. Obviously, I want you to start. Just tell the guys a little bit about the podcast, what it is that you do, and and then we can take it from there.
Cool. So my name is AG. It's short for my full name. So I've recently started a podcast called 1% Man. The idea of the podcast is to build on 3 fundamentals to achieve a masculine excellence in life. So basically being physically and mentally strong, being good with money, creating money, holding on to it, building resources around it and so on, and dating, relationships, that element is very important. And on top of it all off, building a brotherhood of men that you trust, who are your friends and your brothers, and, go together, climb different mountains, achieve things in life, and live the life you should be living.
Yeah. Well, and for you guys that are watching this podcast, make sure that you go and watch all of his, because AG's got probably one of the best interviewers that I've seen. Definitely up there, wow. top 20.
Thanks.
Top 20 easily. Top 10?
Thank you.
Probably. Top 5?
What do you like about it? Tell me, what do you like about it?
Do you know, I like how stoic you are. You're very, very stoic, and because you're very present in the moment, right? Like it doesn't at all come across like you have an agenda or that you're even trying to get a certain point across. You're going from one question, listening to the response, and then going from that response, rather than saying, oh, okay, I'm going to ask him this because I have this really good question that I'm going to line up with, and I'm going to, which a lot of people do. And it's just even day to day with just communication, just in between people. I find that they talk or ask a question to follow up, or they listen to talk. That's probably a better way of saying it, right?
Yes.
With you, it's always quite the opposite, I think, and that's one of many reasons. And the quality is way better than mine. Way better than mine. I just do Zoom.
Bro, it's a professional studio. I mean, I've signed an agreement with 2 studios. Dubai has that thing now. It's pretty good. They have a good team, production team, high quality. And I wanted to do high quality because the message has to be said the right way.
It's true. And I personally get a lot of complaints about it because everyone's just like, yeah, but there's always, you add so much value, Michael, but it's just on Zoom. And I'm like, yeah, I could go high quality. I could get the studio, but then I have to fly people out. Then I have to look into the accommodation and everything, because I'm not like you. You live in Dubai. We've got, plenty of interesting, fascinating people in Dubai.
Yeah.
I live in a small coastal town in Spain. So the only interesting people here are fishermen. And they speak Spanish, so it's not as fun. So I could do it, but it's just easier and quicker, I think.
Yeah.
Easier and quicker.
I mean, the format works, bro. I mean, you and Stefan and Arno, I've jumped in a few of those live sessions. There's some really good stuff in there. And I've got a team of 2-3 people, Aladdin and Stefan, if you're listening. They will cut up anything to make it look good. They're learning the game as we do it. And it's all about how you edit these things and put the strings and hooks into it, right?
Yeah.
You're a good-looking guy, so it's easy.
Bro, we've got the charm, we've got the looks, and we've got the knowledge. So it's going to be, I think this year is going to be very interesting for you. Definitely online. Online is going to be definitely very, very interesting to you. In fact, I was I was on a what do you call them? I've only just started Twitter. The lives on Twitter, Twitter Space. I was on a Twitter Space. Yeah, last night, and there was this guy who was asking, he was saying, "Oh, but aren't you scared that people are going to dox you and all of this?" And it's like, no, not really. Like, why? But do you consider, or have you ever considered people coming after you online, like these trolls, these dorks in a mum's basements, just typing away? Oh, look at this alpha male shit.
Yeah, I mean, so that's one thing. I've not shown the whole of my life on Instagram, right? A lot of things I do, I don't show, especially the things I own. I don't really show it. I don't want that attention. So a couple of people came to me and said, okay, you have to obviously build a personal brand. You have to do this, do that. Okay, so what do I do? Take your supercars, do this shot, and I go to club, show the girls. I say, you know what? If that is the only way they're gonna listen to me, I will do it at some point in a nice flavor. But if that is the way I can launch myself, fuck it. I don't want them to watch. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't need to show my watches and things how I live my life to impress you. You can look at me and say I live that life, right? Yep. So that's one reason I don't want to do it. The second reason, yes, there might be people misunderstanding. Like a couple of people have told me, yeah, so you say this, so which product should I buy? I said, bro, I don't have a product. I'm just doing it out of because I want to do it. Yeah. And I want to talk to people. There's good energy. It's good karma. I want to do it. There's no product. Say, oh, okay, great, cool. So people are going to come after us anyway. I don't really care. But at this point, when I'm building it, I don't want anyone pointing fingers and bringing in negative attention. But generally, it doesn't matter. Let them say what they want.
Yeah.
And I told my team that now we've gone up to, I think, around 30,000 views on YouTube in the last 2 weeks. And we have around close to 1,000 hours of watch time, whatever that means. Wow. That means it's good. Somebody's watching it and it's good. And the comments are filled with positive remarks. A lot of people are from War Room and the Hustlers University and so on. And then I was telling my team, you know what? It's not, we haven't gone to the stage because the haters and the feminists are yet to come. The second we get that 60-40 split, okay, we're ready. That's when we launch it.
Yeah, it's fun, bro, because you get all of these people, and I think this is probably one of the biggest problems online, I think, anyway, which is people just look at the money and they're like, oh, this guy has money, I must follow him. And then they're also you get these other people that are like, oh, Dan Bilzerian types, right? Like, oh, he has all of these hoes. And it's like that's not why you should follow someone just because they have money. Exactly. It's like you need to look at their integrity, look at the kind of questions that they're asking, right? Look at the kinds of people that they have in their life as well, right? Because those are the important things, not the materialistic. I mean, sure, you're wearing a nice watch right now. I'm wearing a nice one, and we've got all of that, but it's when you have it. I'm very interested in your opinion on this, because for me, it's like when you have it, that's when it becomes meaningless with material things.
So you're asking my opinion on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's exactly what I told someone a couple of months ago. They're saying, how did you feel once you've achieved a certain amount of money and things you wanted? I said, it's nice, but yeah, whatever. It's like, that's it. I get more happiness now doing stuff like this, talking to people messaging me and listen, bro, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I want to see you one day. I want to come to Dubai one day. Something about maybe it's my personality, something about doing that, helping somebody randomly sending a voice message. Hey bro, do this, or talk to this guy. Gives me more happiness than the thing. Now, the question is, if I lose it all, right? I have nothing, go back to zero. I have to go live somewhere else, ask my friend for table money, whatever. I would make it back in 2 years' time. So I'm genuinely not even scared about that. I do respect and appreciate it. But like you said, once you have it and have it for a while, it's a difference between new money and old money. Then it's like, yeah, bro, it's just whatever, right? People come to Dubai and like, yeah, dinners, clubs, this food, that food. That's how exactly I live my life. It's like, it doesn't really matter to me now. But new money, guys make that money. Oh shit, I got to do this. I have to do that. I have to have that. Watch, look at my new watch.
Yeah. It loses the excitement. It's because, and I was having a pretty similar conversation the other day with a friend of ours. And I was saying, it's like the dopamine runs off very fast with materialistic things, right? It runs off very, very fast. But then there's like genuine things which will never run out. Like you genuinely helping someone and not expecting anything other than respect for it.
Yeah.
And I had to think about that. I was like, we don't just help people for helping people's circumstances, right? Because if they were disrespectful, if they were, an evil person, obviously we wouldn't. But I think there's something about being just a good person, right? Being a good man that's you've learned how to make money, sure, but I think that's also the important thing. It's now that you have money, you know how to make it, because you can't have money unless you know how to make it. So that at that point you're like, oh, I can just make it again. Wow, okay, it's easy. But I think the helping people part is so few people can do it. So very, very few people can truly help people and change people's lives, which is why I think I don't know. But for me, I think that's one of the reasons I like it and I want to do it, is because so people can do it and from a genuine place where they don't just want to make money from them, And I think that a lot of these, especially these online influencers, right? The ones that are just posting pictures, renting Lambos. Oh, dude, get started. AG, get started, because this is going to be a funny conversation.
Listen, we are on the network, the one of the best network in the world, and it's in that network there are lots of people, influential people. So I don't want to say anything, but in general, like Sterling in the last episode said the same thing, right? It was a very interesting conversation. He said, I truly hate the cycle of uselessness. Like, what do you mean? I understood what he meant. I wanted him to elaborate. What he was saying is that there are people online, or the influencers, who will gather the information from another influencer or someone that like that figure, and they will put their flavors on it, their spices on it, and they pass it on to the audience. And then the information they get is either half cooked or completely false, but it's cool, it sounds nice, and that is passed on to, let's say, 5,000 people, and then they do the same thing. It's a circle of uselessness, and no one's doing anything. That is exactly the true reality of life.
It's true. This is the thing, right? Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's just that everywhere online. So online, what I see is someone somewhere came up with some original idea. There's actually a very, very good concept, or it's a good analogy, and then all of a sudden, everyone everywhere is using the same analogy, and this is Tate himself mastered this, right?
Yes.
Like the leaving your Lamborghini in the hood. Like, you wouldn't leave your Lamborghini in the hood, right? And that all of a sudden now everyone's talking about, that's why I don't want my girl being out, because Andrew said this thing, rather than like questioning it and being like, okay, it works, but then coming up with their own spin on things. And it's, I don't know, I think one of the reasons I wanted to start, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, I think is very similar to you, because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of just garbage shit being regurgitated online, and there's no originality, and there's no, dare I say it, but class.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that you bring to the table. Like the Sterling interview was one of the classiest ones, because there was no talk about porn, the whole
halal, bro. We said we have to keep it halal. I was like, okay, Sterling. He said, I'm tired of talking about the haram stuff. Let me talk about halal stuff. Okay, bro, come on, do it, do your thing.
go for it, brother. And this is the thing. It's like, I think one of the fundamental aspects about the men's help, or the red pill, whatever you wanted to call it, I think one of the big issues with it is it's just a way for men to get women, and I find it garbage, rather than doing what they should, which is becoming a better man. And it's like it's a lot of it's instant gratification, I think, for a lot of these young men. And I think that a lot of these young men are just fundamentally lost now, right? I mean, why do you think that is, though? Why do you think we have this whole generation of young men that just don't have a fucking clue what they're doing or what they want to be doing?
This is a question I ask all of the guests, and Luke had a really good answer about this. We talked about it. Dylan, Sterling, everybody talked about it. But I think it was just the same 30, 40 years ago. Young men with all the energy and the power in the world were always lost, but the avenues to express yourselves were very limited. You're lost, go to military. You do this, you do your job, get married, have children, right? So the options were very limited. Now the world has completely changed upside down. Now the whole virtual world is a real world, and you see young men watching other people, influencers and so on, saying these things and living a life or pretending or whatever they're doing. And they get confused, right? What should I believe in? Should I be this player, for example, or should I be the man who wants to be with one woman, have children? Should I focus on making this much money, or should I do email marketing, or should I do sales? It's so much information now, it's all fucked up and confused. And the source of information these people are gathering is TikTok, Instagram, YouTube videos. And who do you see on these three platforms? Influencers, right? They will, like you said, regurgitate something somebody else said. Perpetual cycle keeps going on. No one's sitting and thinking. There's a massive lack of self-awareness in sitting and thinking, you know what am I good at? Am I good at content creation, for example? Or am I good at talking? Am I good at technical stuff? Am I good at coding? You need to sit and fucking think. No one's thinking. Write down, think. Okay, 3 years from now, I want to do this. So what can I start to do? How can I make, let's say, $500? What skill do I have? A phone. I like watching videos. Maybe I edit it. You got to try different things. The lack of self-awareness and then the lack of balls combined, it's a useless group of people.
Yeah. You said it beautifully. It's because one of the things I often say, AG, is when I get a young guy who comes up to me and they're like, okay, what should I do? Because they don't even know what to do, because they have magpie syndrome, right? Like they're looking over here, fuck shiny object, It's all it's like the attention economy, right? But it's like you're never going to do anything or make anything of yourself unless you actually try different things, right? Because
absolutely.
And on top of that, I don't know if this is just me, but I've said this many times over, like, you're never going to know what you're good at unless you actually try different things, right? Like you could be a great sharpshooter, but if you don't go and try it, you don't know. Maybe it's a good painter. Fuck, try, right? Don't just sit there jacking off the board up all day, right? Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head, and it comes down to the attention deficit, right? Like it's like ADHD on cocaine, basically, right? And now it's like 10 seconds here, you have 10, 15 second TikToks. If it's not good for like three, it's garbage. It's just garbage.
Bro, TikTok I just downloaded TikTok because my guys set up this account. It's not really doing well on TikTok because most of my stuff was like about 30 seconds. And no one wants to see this shit. Then I looked at some of the stuff on TikTok, and I watch people, and I see everybody from a janitor to a bus driver to a mid-level manager. Everyone's doing this shit, right? And what are they watching? People dancing, voiceovers, some bullshit. I can't even explain the shit that's on TikTok. That's what people are watching.
It's cancerous.
Bro, it is. Fucking useless thing.
What's the worst TikTok that you've seen, or the most cancerous one?
I've only spent like 10 minutes on it. I don't know. It's the voiceover thingies people do, which is supposed to be funny. They do this movie lines and they talk to each other. The reaction videos of reaction video, shit like that makes no fucking sense. What is entertaining about watching someone's reaction and making a reaction of that video? Like, what is going on, bro? I may be too old. I don't understand this.
No, your reaction videos of reaction videos. It's such fucking tripe. It's like, okay, so someone made a reaction. Now it's reaction inception, right? It's like when does this fucking thing end? It doesn't. It's like you have one small. You're watching someone, watching someone, watching someone, watching someone, and it's just that the screen just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's.
Do you know the biggest influencer on TikTok? I think it's a Taiwanese girl, if I'm not wrong. Oh no, there's a like 18-year-old girl or something. She has 600 million followers or something in that range, and all she does is a selfie of her videos. And she's a young girl. She's a beautiful girl, young girl. She does nonsense bullshit, and there are probably millions of men. Hey, baby, thank you, baby. Oh, you're so cute, baby. And the second one has 167 million followers. It's just I think it's a Taiwanese girl wearing school uniform with her buddies doing like this.
Oh,
I don't know what the fuck that even is. Millions of views, bro. Millions of views. Like, what the fuck? I got Luke Barnett talking real shit, and that got like 3,000 views. One got like 6,000 views. That was like a big day. And he was saying real stuff. He was entertaining too, what he was saying. But no, whatever this thing that they keep doing is the thing.
You know what? We have to do standing podcasts where we just wear like schoolgirl outfits and dance now. Like, this is the way. Okay, fine. If that's how we get your attention to become better men, then fine. All right, we'll do it. But it's like these people sell their fucking soul, though. It's like, especially these younger girls. I'm genuinely fucking. I'm terrified about where the next 5, 10, 15 years is going to go. Right, because all of this shit's new. We don't know the effect of it, but
yeah, the long-term effect, yeah.
I mean, what we do know is that suicides are through the fucking roof, like 1,000% in the past 10 years. Like it's some serious shit, and we have to deal with some repercussions, sure. But it's like, how far down the line are we going to kick the can until we actually like do something about this, right? That's really what I'm scared about. Is how far does it have to go? We know that kids are now, coming out as LGBTQ cis robot gender.
Don't even get me started on that thing. Okay,
let's go. Let's go. But
sorry, carry on. I don't want to break your thought. Yeah.
No, but it's just that it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And even I saw today. You may or may not have seen this one, but this was fascinating to me. So there was a study done by Statistica, which said that 7.5% now of Americans are LGBT robot cis man. If that's true, the US would fail very quickly because a woman and a woman and a man cannot procreate, right?
Yeah.
So the whole ecosystem and economic system would fail, like within the next 20, 30 years, I think. So if that's true, the US is fucked. Like seriously fucked.
For sure, yeah.
But I think it's more like, I don't know, 2 to 5%. And even if it is 7%, why is the whole online world and all of these tech giants pandering to 7% of people and ramming what 7% of people think down the 93% who either completely disagree with it or just think, oh, okay, that's fine, they're just weird. It doesn't make any sense to me. And but there has to be some kind of agenda behind it, right?
There is.
What do you think the agenda is?
So I don't know how far you want to go in the rabbit hole. So what I know from a bit of research that I've done and some very credible people exposing this stuff is that World Economic Forum, run by Charles Schwab, right, is, you know, the whole thing, what they do. They're the group of elites, something like the war room, but at a different level. Billionaires, politicians, the key policy makers, all of those people. They sit together, chill in Davos, make new bills and rules and whatever. And they have organizations. They have a thing called I think it's called an ESG rating, something like that, wherein the organizations have to comply to social norms, social standards, helping build the social standards and then environmental standards and so on. One part of that is to share a narrative using your organization's brand to the world. Part of that, if you really dig deep into Limits to Growth, which is a book written by, which is clearly followed by the WEF, is that creating mass confusion. So what they're trying to do is that take a thing that is logical. It's sunny in the morning. Nobody can refute it, right? What if they suddenly say, you know what, but moon is sometimes pink in color, right? Something like that. Doesn't make any sense. But then you will build opposite arguments on that illogical comment. And by the way, it happens once in a while. In this part of Africa, moon is kind of pink. And then people say, you know what, this is all an agenda. Oh, the world is trying to lie to us, so it must be pink. This is just an example I'm giving you. They will take an illogical point and then add evidence to it, which is already illogical, doesn't make any sense. And then they will stir it up. And a bunch of people who have lost and nothing new to think about and follow, they will catch it, they'll take the bait, and they'll run with it. Something like a flat earth theory. So they will manufacture mass hypnosis for people. And then that's how they control the whole population. And this is not an accident. Even Tate talks about it, right? Tate talks about it in terms of masculinity, femininity, but it goes much bigger than that. They want to completely control the people. Mass hypnosis is real. TikTok is mass hypnosis. Instagram, mass hypnosis. And you can push any narrative to the world. You can push a narrative saying Michael died 5 years ago, for example, and he did this, this, and that. And you have organizations push that agenda within 3 weeks. That's a new norm. Oh, Michael is this guy, right? They can shift narratives like that, and people will catch on to it. And that's what they want. They want mass hypnosis so they can control the people. Now, this might get pulled off, but that's the truth.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Worst comes to worst. My Sterling interview got taken off of BotTube anyway, so that's up on Rumble. So if we get taken down, it's still up anyway. That's what I love about Rumble. But I think it's just that, but I think it's even crazier as well, because like it's beautiful what they've done. Like it's terrifyingly fucking beautiful, because cognitive bias, right? So once you believe something, you have to come up with examples and proof that that thing exists, right? So once these people believe or identify with the narrative, from that point onwards, that's it. Whatever other narrative that comes out, like it all started with climate change. Well, actually, it all started with feminism, I suppose. And then you have climate change. Oh, okay. Well, look, I'm a good person, right? And it's all under the guise of I'm a good person. And that's the scary. It's scarily beautiful, because who doesn't want to be a good person, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, but now it's also dangerous on the other side, because sometimes, there's this and sometimes there's that, but at the same time, you can't immediately assume that like everything is false that someone says, like, or just like you can't assume that a saint will always say something truthful, and you can't assume that a sinner will always sin, right? Yeah. It's just this weird sense of just there's this or there's that, right? And there's always two options. It's like the illusion of choice and options. Did you see who was it? Jordan Peterson the other day. Did you see what that he's now creating like a counter WEF?
No. Is he?
Yeah. Which I was really, honestly, bro, I was super, super, super excited about it initially. I was like, do you know what? That's fucking G. I can get behind that. And then I walked away.
But I think War Room is the anti-WF.
Yeah.
If you ask me, we are the guys.
Yeah. And it was like, but I was like, hold on. I need to take this away and think about this for a second. Let me think about this for a second. And I was just like, hold on a second. What if it's just another one of those choose X or choose Y? Do you know what? And I was just like, if I were the power that be, I'm just saying.
Exactly what would you do?
Yeah.
Mass confusion.
Like, that's genius. I ain't falling for it. I'm not falling for it. I can't. Yeah. I can't. But this is, I think, what most young men miss is the ability to question, right? It's like to question people, to question things. It's like vetting. We're very, very what's the word? Deep with our vetting of, you know, who we let into our circle, who we trust, right. and why we trust them, and with what we trust them, right? But for you, what do you think is like a good way that a normal young, let's say 19, 20-year-old could actually vet people in their life? Like women, maybe not as important, but for their friends, how could a young man vet their friends better?
That's a good question. I would there are different ways to look at it, right? What I truly believe is there are enemies in our lives that we don't even know. Most people have enemies in their lives as well. There are internal enemies, there are external enemies. Internal enemies are more vicious than external ones because you don't even see them. That could be your laziness, procrastination, addictions, and so on. Then there are external enemies in the shape of friends. Let's say a young guy has 4 or 5 friends he hangs out with, smokes, drinks, does this, doesn't that. And you would see the real value of the friendship, one, when you're in real trouble, right? I've had this happen to me many years ago when I got into real deep shit. I wanted someone's help. Illegal fashion, nobody turned up. These are the people I used to hang out doing barbecues and whatever, brothers, so-called. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is to one guy a couple of weeks ago asked me the exact same question. So to smoke out your enemy, there's a saying that in Chinese that shake the grass, the snake will come out. Yeah. It's something in that fashion. So I would try and really vet my friends by doing this. I would so let's say we have a conversation and tell him that, you know what, I don't think you're telling the truth. There's something wrong in what you're saying. When you present that argument to him in a nice way, the reaction what your friends give you is a big indication of who they are. If they get angry that you said it, or you kind of spotted what they're trying to say, I think you're not actually saying this for my good. There's something wrong in what you're saying. And the way they react, if it's your good friend, he'll say, yeah, bro, sorry. Yeah, maybe you're right. If it's your enemy who doesn't want good for you, right, they truly wish you bad, they will get angry. They'll get upset. Like, what do you mean? You think I'm lying to you? You think I care about this? I don't care about your watch and this, and fuck you. That's a great way to shake the snake out of. Then you never talk to that guy. Don't hang out with him, because he's the exact same one who will not come to you for your rescue, and at the same time will talk shit about you, wish you bad as well, one way or the other, and is just using you for your company. So that's the easiest way.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I noticed I wasn't doing this purposefully, but I did the same thing with an acquaintance, right? He was in business circles here. And I'm just like, this guy's, he seems really nice. There's just, you know, where you're like, there's just something about the guy.
Something's off.
I can't fuck. So when that happens, I'm like, right, okay, I need to see, because most young men with their friends, they just agree, right?
Exactly.
They agree because they don't have any other friends. Yeah. And they don't stand for anything themselves. and this is one beautiful thing about our circles is that we say something and then someone will say, hold on a second, that's bullshit, and you're doing the wrong thing and you're going down a bad path because of X, Y, and Z. And we'll call each other out on our shit, but that's what a true friend does. Not just agree to be nice, and that's a beautiful way to see. Just no, bro. I'm not really sure about that. And then what happened with this one entrepreneur here? We were at dinner and there was a few other people there, and he said. Anyway, something about some kind of investment that we were planning on doing, a local investment. That was it for a school. And he said, yeah, well, I'd really want to teach X, Y, and Z classes, that he wanted to teach it. And I was like, well, that's fine, but we should not be managing the oversight in X, Y, and Z areas. It was the personal fitness, all of this kind of thing. That's fine. And religion. It was about religion as well. Oh, and we should make it religion. No. We can't oversee religion, right? You can't make someone or force someone from any creed or culture to believe in a certain thing. I had my beliefs. I stand by them, but I'm not going to force them on anyone else. But so I called him out on it, and that's when he goes. The mask fell off. And that's when I was just like,
that's you. All right. There you go. And it's like a tiny chink in the armor, by the way. It's a very minute thing. Like, oh, shit. You will see it. It's a very easy way to smoke it out.
Most guys as well, though, they wouldn't even see it. They wouldn't see it because they're not as self-aware. Because to become that self-aware, you have to be very self-aware, and that takes many years because we're human, right? We're all onions, and we all have to get to know ourselves before we can truly know other people. Because if you don't know yourself, then no one else is going to know who you really are, right? But what would be your advice for someone who's, I don't know, let's say young 20s, because that's most of my audience. Someone who's sort of young 20s, for them to also get to know themselves, to be able to stand up for something.
Able to stand up for something, or like a belief system, a value system.
That, but not necessarily a system, but for themselves as well.
I mean, you said it, right? Self-awareness. So I'll give you an example of how I lived my life. Since I was young, very young, probably 8, 9 years old, I always knew I don't want to live a certain life, the life that's been set, the life that my father, my relatives, and my people around me lived. I always knew I didn't want to live that life. There's something else out there. And I'm not going to follow the path, do this, go to university, get a job, blah, blah. I don't want to do that. That's not an ideal life. There has to be something else. I was self-aware. Then I always knew that at some point I'm going to figure things out. I got to figure it out. I have to experiment different things. Like a scientist, you got to experiment this, experiment that. Every year I have a new theme that I follow. Last year there were a couple of other things. This year is the media part, podcasts, and so on. Self-awareness is huge, man. I mean, everybody has one superpower, regardless of gender or which location they're born from. Everybody is self-critical. Knowing how to criticize yourself means that you're already aware of your problems. That is a superpower. Now, take that criticism, which you use for negative shit, do it for positive shit. Now, criticize yourself to become more positive. You know what? I wake up in the morning, I think like this, or I watch porn. This doesn't make any sense. Let me put this energy into something else. You can criticize yourself towards good things. Use that superpower. If you're self-judgmental, if you're self-critical, use it for positive things, and be self-aware always. What am I doing next week? It's quite simple, right? I have a whiteboard here. You see this? So I have a thing here where I have January 1st. Exactly. January 1st, month to month, I have listed the things that I'm going to do not very high, but quite specific. And the things that can go wrong. Okay, January, I'm going to do this. February, I will do this, but this might go wrong because I did this in January. I am ready, right? Unless I drop dead of heart attack, everything else I've calculated. I might do this much money. I might make this much money. Podcast will do this. It might not work. Okay, so from there, I go to another angle. It's all been mapped out.
Mhm.
This is none of this thing that I'm doing right now is accident. It's all been planned step by step. So I have to be taking accountability of my life. And that is a hard part. Like we started at the beginning, we said all the information is out there. What is the gap? The gap is people know this stuff. People know how to lose weight. People know how to make money, at least $500, $100, what to do. The problem is accountability. It's hard work, man. Criticizing yourself every day, tweaking out. Like Dylan and I was talking about it. Every voice message that I sent out, I listened to 3 times. My own message. Like, you know what? I should have said that way. Okay, note for myself next time. This interview, I'll watch 10 times. And I'll say, you know what? I should have said that way. This is exhausting, but I don't know any other way to live. And that's why I'll improve myself. My goal is not to make, yes, money is very important part of my goal, but self-improvement. What is the best version I can become? That is a key theme in my life.
It's fucking huge. It's fucking huge. And
I know I didn't give you the exact answer, but I can
no,
only talk
that's
examples.
fine. It's fine. This is how conversations go. I prefer these kinds of conversations rather than just some linear garbage, right? Because the linear shit's just linear, and there's no us in it, because it's just like, oh, okay, we have to stick within these. Fuck it.
Yeah,
but yeah. It's true, because I can't remember who it was, but it was just like a normal I think it was a neighbor or someone. And they were saying to me, this was a while ago, and they were saying, oh, I hate listening to my own voice notes. And I resonated that, because at the start of my own personal journey, I was just like, well, especially when I started sales, I was just like, fuck, dude, I got to listen to myself selling this guy. I would cringe every single time initially. But then I can remember I had that exact thought, and I went, well, hold on a second. What if instead of me cringing at it, I can criticize myself? Because I'm going to criticize myself anyway by cringing.
Anyway, yeah, use it for good.
Yeah, exactly. And that was exactly, I think I was like 16 or 17 years old. And I can remember that very specifically. I went home, I was reading a book, it just came to me. I was like, fuck, what if I use it for good? Because I kept on like telling myself, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do this. Oh, you're bad at this. Okay, I'm bad at this, and I can improve on it. So it's a very small shift. It is difficult. It is difficult, but it's also egotistical, I think, for most people, right? Because most people don't want to look at themselves and say, I am not a perfect human being, right? Because it's very difficult for someone to look at themselves and say, you know what, I'm not perfect. But I don't understand why that's so difficult for most people. It's like, you don't know everything. No one fucking does, right? And no one's going to be perfect. We're all human. We've all done shit. We all will fuck up again, right? But it's this ego, I think, that's killing most people to be perfect. And I think social media as well is going to have a flip to people, not people being imperfect, which is kind of, I guess, what people are doing now, right? They're like, oh, look at me, I'm depressed. Now I'm trans. Please support me. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this has already happened, bro. Maybe it's already happened. But I think it's the truth is never in just the black or the white. I think it's always in the gray. But I think for most young men, they need that self-criticizing. And how would you say to a young guy or girl as well, because women, you also need this, right? But how would you get them to start?
I mean, they're already doing it. Like I said, most people take selfies or take the video of whatever they're doing, and they'll see 10 things wrong on them. Oh, I'm fat, I'm doing this, I said this wrong. I kind of look this. They're already doing it. So like I said in the beginning, use your criticism, which is a superpower, because if you can see these minute things about yourself, most people are not even seeing it, then use it for positive good for your own self. And again, like you said, it's about perfectionism. It's not about, I don't think it's about perfectionism. I think it is about the burden of taking the accountability, coming out and saying, listen, okay, for example, sales, you mentioned sales. Like I've spent a lot of time selling. I am shit at pitching. I'm sweating, I'm nervous, I don't know the product, I can't talk like this. This other guy's actually very cool. Accepting that is quite depressing to most people. They will rather drink themselves to death than accepting the fact that, you know what, I'm absolutely shit. I'm actually fat. So cover that. It's like the ostrich in the sand approach. Cover it up and make a bunch of excuses and don't look at it till the time comes that you absolutely have to look at it. Like your health goes to shit, you got diabetes or something. It's the same thing. It's a lack of the fear, like I said at the beginning, the balls to look at yourself and say, you know what, I do kind of like nice things. A lot of people will tell me, oh, why do you have a fast car? There are like 5,000 cameras just in the palm of your mirror. It doesn't make any sense. You can't go fast. I say, it's not about the speed. It's about me owning that thing, the experience that I get, because I had nothing. I'm coming from nothing. So they wanted to, by the way. They said, I love this. Can I drive that driver? I love this. Now I want it. So you always wanted it. You lied to yourself the whole time. You didn't want it. And they're like, oh, yeah, that is true. So the burden of accepting the fact that your life is shit or you are actually shit in some things, and the accountability, once you accept it, then you have two choices. I live the life as it is, like give it away, depression. Second, like, you know what? I got to change it. What am I doing? I have to lose weight, or I have to make money. I have to have a girlfriend, whatever. That is people are scared to do it, because what if they fail? What if I go to gym, my friends laugh at me? What if I actually will never lose weight? What if I will actually never be better at sales? It's the what ifs and the fear. It's the lack of balls. It's like when I started doing the podcast, I was thinking, why do I need to do this? I don't need to do this. I made my money, right? I will do 10 other things to make money. This doesn't make any money. It takes so much time and effort from me to do it. It's such a sort of a distraction for me, but I have a grand plan of why am I doing all this stuff. So I said, you know what? This is a mountain I've never climbed. I've never been in front. I've never done the media shit. I need to do this. I need to finish this. The first, you said I'm stoic, I'm good. In the beginning, you told me I was a bit anxious. I've never done a podcast. I was a bit anxious, but you know what I thought? If I can do this the best way, and even if I fail, I look complete moron. It's fine. At least I tried. How many people have the balls to do what I do?
Yeah.
Zero. And that's exciting to me. So you gotta look at yourself and say, okay, I am shit at this. I actually want to improve. Have the balls and courage to do it. Doesn't matter if you fail. Fail 50 times. I've failed so many times, bro. In so many things. I can't even take people. A lot of people laughed at me. What the fuck are you saying? No problem. I'll do another thing.
Yeah. It's the being able to fail is another superpower, right? Like too many people are like, oh, but what if I fail? Well, hold on a second. What if you don't? Like, what happens
Exactly.
if you don't fail? And I think that's something which scares a lot of people as well. Is okay, you're scared if you actually succeed in the thing. Oh shit! Now you have to be like real with it. And I still struggle with imposter syndrome, right? And I'm like, I look around at my life and I'm like, bro, I was abused as a kid. I was a fucking cokehead. I was stealing cars. I was doing all of this dumb shit. And now I have essentially the perfect life. I have an amazing dog. I've got the best girlfriend, probably on planet Earth, who soon, inshallah, will be my wife. And you know, it's like, okay, wow. And of course, the money's great and everything, but it's not that. I look back and I'm like, man, even now I'm still scared. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, now I'm gonna start putting myself out there. So some dude just yesterday was just like, oh, this guy's like an Andrew Tate from cracks me up. It's an Andrew Tate from Wish, with some scraggy dog with some gay private jet picture, and it cracks me up. But what cracks me up even more was was my response to it, which was, "What color's your dog?" This is the thing that I think you can really tell a lot about someone by, I don't know whether it's the humility, because you like, there's a line that you don't cross, right? Like, anyone says something about my girlfriend, yeah, something's happening there. Anyone tries anything with my family, definitely things are happening there.
Yeah.
But it's like some random dork online who I don't know, who I'm never going to meet, who's anonymous in the fucking first place, who doesn't have the balls to even be himself. Why the fuck do I give a shit? Tell me how fat my Armenian nose is. It's cool, whatever, bro. Like, why give a shit? But then at the same time, it's also like, I think so many guys are scared to hold themselves, like you were saying before, AG, about being accountable. I think that's scary, and it is scary.
It is scary. It is scary.
And what?
Because
how do you become even accountable?
I'll take a step back, and I'll take an esoteric step to this. I truly think some people are different, larger vessels to absorb different things. There are some spectacular people that have lived and died, and in our group, there are some spectacular people. You're one of them. We absorb things slightly differently. So something about our DNA or something about we got since we were born, we absorb things differently, and we think it could be just a 1 degree difference from what you and me think in terms of mindset and how to live life to compare to a normal person. But that makes a huge difference compounded over 10 years. But I truly think some people are different. Some people, how they process information, absorb information, how they do things, how they think about things, they are different. Some people will always be a certain way. Some people will never understand how to improve themselves. All of the answers are in front of them. We can say the exact same thing for 95 years. They will still ask the same questions because they can never process, okay, AG said I should be accountable. It's scary. He was scared too, but he's doing it. So maybe I should do it too. That means it's okay. They will never come to that conclusion even. They're like, yeah, whatever. He thinks he's somebody. Like Dylan in the show said something very cool about making money and how he started on blah, blah, blah. And some guys came on the YouTube post and said, is this an Andrew Tate impersonator? Oh, he's copying Andrew Tate. And my guys jumped in and said, you know, did you listen to the information that he said? Haha, this is part of the pyramid scheme, isn't it?
No.
I was thinking, you're getting this info for free. Watch it, down them whatever you want to do. Why would you even come to that conclusion? I hear this a lot. I mean, some women tell this too, like, you guys all kind of act like Andrew did. I said, if you're part of the same religious group, for example, and you pray to the same, you're all going to say and talk and act almost the same way. That's why it's called a group. If we all act differently, think differently, it's not a group anymore. There's unity in the group.
Yeah. And it's also, and I was having this conversation as well. Someone was like, oh, X person, I can't remember who it was, but X person said this, and I'm like, well, that was it. So someone said this woman messaged me, and she's been following me from my Periscope days when I was doing my personal brand, when I was like 18, 19. And I got really fast, really quick, because it was just me doing what I was doing as a young kid. And it's all of my, not all of it, but most of my adult life is actually documented online. Like it's pretty easy to find.
So you're a person that can be followed. There's social proof.
Yeah.
You didn't randomly pop up after a crypto pump or NFT. So like, now I'm rich. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm an influencer now.
Look at me. I've just made millies. This is the other thing. I don't really focus on money too much. I focus on more how are you living now? Like, how are you living? Like, I tell you know, all of my followers, I say to them, look, you know, it's about getting money is about, you know, retiring your parents. Getting money is about looking after your family. That's what money can do. That's what makes money worth it. All of the other shit, like, don't get me wrong, it's great having, you know, a watch with a fucking sapphire on it, and it's great to be able to finally be able to buy the things that you want to be able to. That's fine. But at the end of the day, if you can't look after the people that you love, then what's the fucking point? What's the point?
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a 5-star vacation by myself. I want to take the people that I love with me, right? And that's the thing that most people miss, I think. And when it also comes down to what this woman was saying, was she was like, oh, Stephen said this, so you must fully agree with him because you guys have share a podcast together. And I'm like, Stephen's his own fucking man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He has his own thoughts and beliefs on life. He's not me. We'd be literally the same person. And it's like, I understand, and I personally, I think a very important thing in life to do is to understand that if you'd have lived exactly the exact same life experiences as that other person, whoever the fuck it is, whether it's some random person in the street, whether they're homeless, whether they're a millionaire, you would be in exactly the same position, thinking and believing exactly the same fucking thing, because you would have lived their life, right? And I think people are so short-sighted nowadays, and they're like, oh, it's fake virtue signaling, I suppose, is what I'm coming to.
It's a cope, bro. It's a cope. Like, so like I said, beginning, people ask me, why do you have these cars and blah, blah, blah. And this is a conversation I say, imagine a guy is pulling up, a fit, good looking guy is pulling up in the McLaren. You are standing there at the valet with your girl, right? And you live a normal life. You live a good life. You obviously don't have a McLaren. Pulls up and your girl looks at it. Something inside you, if you have any 1% of masculinity, something inside you bugs you about the whole thing. And then the automatic reaction, I've had this too, is to say, you know what, drug money, he's ugly, fuck it, he's paying for this, he's paying for this chick, whatever, he did this and that. But if you really dig down on what this thought about is, it's the thing that you kind of lost in that whole scenario. There's somebody better than you.
Yeah.
Right. And the cars and things signify that. And you can look at it and say, you know what, he's actually better good looking than me, he's fitter than me, he's got money than me, his girl is prettier than me, he's obviously more successful. You can be jealous and cope, make two things, cope with it and say, you know, fuck him, I'm better than him. This is probably drug money, this is probably crypto money, whatever. Or you can say, you know what, this guy's a cool guy. I feel inspired. I like his style. Maybe I'll take this style. Cool. This is possible. He looks kind of my age, so it should be possible for me too, and walk away. Most people are on the first one. Most people look at it and they will mentally say, you know what, I can never achieve this. This guy's obviously better than me, so let me shit on him mentally and verbally. So I don't have to deal with the fucking fact that I am not living the life I'm supposed to live.
Yeah.
And this is 99% of people.
Yeah, it's just that. It's like, I'm some loser garbage piece of shit, and my girl looked at something that I don't have, and therefore me being a garbage piece of shit, I'm going to hand that over to the person who's actually not a garbage piece of shit. That person's evil. That person's terrible. That person's made his money through illegal means. It's I always forget.
And that's what you're seeing online as well. When you come up, you obviously are talented, you can speak well, you're a good-looking guy, you have all the things going on for you. And people at your age group or from the same place see you do all these things, they feel this innate in their mind, like, oh my God. It's no longer about money, like, what the fuck? I could have done that, but accepting that in my mind, it'll either make me depressed or the easiest way to cope. Like, fuck him, he's an idiot. I'm not going to say, oh, you know what, he's no better than me. This is all bullshit. He's scamming people. You can say these things as much as you want. People are not even self-aware to understand, okay, the reaction to what I'm seeing is normal. but maybe I can take something out of it and do something with this energy. Nobody even thinks about it. Personal accountability, self-awareness, zero.
None. No, fuck all. It's
None,
nothing.
bro, none.
And it's like, bro, you're spending like this is another conversation that I had the other day. I was saying, like, look, you have. I was having this with my little brother actually, and I was saying to him because my little brother has been working with me for a little while, but he hasn't been performing recently, and he's been getting lazy, which, you know, I understand it. He's sort of in a difficult space in his life. We just lost my dad and his dad
Sorry,
2 years ago. And I get that, you know, it's everyone deals with things differently, but I'm like, look, it doesn't matter how the fuck you're or what's just happened. What matters is what are we going to do, right? Like, what are we going to do about it, bro? Like, you can either sit there and do nothing and just use all of the time that you have, which is very limited. We have 80 fucking times around a balling weird thing of plasma, 80 times around it on a spinning piece of rock and fucking molten. And here you are, just wasting this beautiful thing that you call life on just feeling bad or smoking weed or what, like what? It doesn't make any sense. Like if we all know one thing, regardless as to religion, regardless as to race, regardless as to your wealth status, everything, we're all gonna fucking die, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We're all gonna die.
Some faster than others.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
No guarantees. And this is the thing. This is why I think my thing, and I was thinking about this earlier, my thing, I think from now on is going to be something that I said before, many years ago, which was, you need to look as a young man, you need to look and realize that you're going to have a funeral one day. You're not going to be there. You will be there in spirit, and you will see the people that are there, right? That are praying for you, that are loving you, that are crying. Those people will eventually, you know, move on emotionally and everything else. But the important thing is, if your brothers aren't there for you in life, they sure as hell ain't turning up to your fucking funeral. They got better things to be doing, right? Like, so for me now, it's like, look, I only want people that are turning up to my funeral. I only want people that are gonna be there. It's like, you don't mind me asking, do you have any godchildren? So,
Godchildren or children?
Godchildren or children as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have nephews, 2 nephews, kind of their godfather. Yeah.
It's so it's like, you know, the feeling of, look, you look at those kids and you're like, it doesn't matter what happens to your sister, your brother. That kid is now important for me, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who have never seen a child like grow up. Thankfully I did with my little sister, and then again with my my youngest, or now oldest, goddaughter, who I was given the role when I just turned 16, and now I'm looking, I'm like, Jesus, man, like, it does. If I die and I have kids, I want someone to look at my kids the same way that I would look after theirs, right? That for me is the goal, right? I'd never go with the mother ever. We wouldn't even fucking look at her in a what's even the word, a sexual or an attractive way. Never. But the child means the world to them, and therefore it means the world to me. And I think with children, I think that's really the only example of where, if you have a brother, like we were saying before, you have a brother and that thing matters to them that much, that it absolutely, it has to matter to you as well. I think that's just a fundamental. Well, what do you think of that?
You went a little deep on this. That's true. Those children are super important, man. Children are the future. And everything you learn, you got to pass it on to your kids too. Why else would you have nephews and cousins and children and so on? That's super important. And the thing that you said, remember you will die one day. All this bullshit you're thinking in your head will be useless at one point. There was a book that was released by a nurse in England. She used to work at NHS, and she was in the critical care section. I don't know if this came out like 10 years ago. And she documented, and when she took care of the patients, most of these patients are older or dying with some cancer or whatever, and they were in their last days. So they were told they're going to die any second. So she was taking care of those people. And then she documented, she ended up talking to them, a lot of them, close to 100 of them. And she documented, and she asked, what do you think about this? How did you live your life? Most of them categorically said one thing very common. A lot of people said family, whatever. One thing always came up, uniform, consistently, regret. They always said something, and most of them were men. They said, you know what? I should have done that thing that I was thinking about, whatever, musician, whatever the fuck that is. Regret. And they regretted not making those moves, taking those risks. They didn't sit and think, you know what, that Lamborghini, that watch, that bitch, I should have gone to that club, I should have sat on this. They didn't think any of that. They should say, I should have done that thing. It could be a simple thing, starting a podcast or writing a book, whatever. So regret, people don't understand how poisonous that thing gets. But at that time, in your last days, it's pointless. You're going to die without regret. You can't do anything about
it. It's fascinating, by the way, that you just said about the hospice nurse, because I'm hoping it's going to be the next one. If it's not going to be the next one, it's going to be the one afterwards. But there's a hospice nurse who now on Instagram, she's got something like 100K followers or something. And I've been following her since she had like 1,000 or something. Gone super, super, super viral. But I'm actually going to be getting her on to talk about this exact thing, about like what is it that women at the end of their lives and men at the end of their lives, they actually regret. Because man, I got goosebumps saying this. Like it's because it's the one real thing that we all know is going to happen, right? So it's like, look, for you guys watching, it doesn't matter if you're fucking scared, right? It doesn't. For them, they're getting in front of themselves too much. Yep. And I think especially in your level of success, which is more than even mine, it's you get to the point where you're like, fuck, you know what matters more? Me actually doing stuff, because you can only do stuff whilst you're alive. When you're dead, you're fucked. You can't do anything.
Exactly. Right.
And then you can't just sit there and waste life. Like, sure, I get it. Like video games, everything. It's fun to do every once in a while. Thank you, baby. It's fun to do every once in a while, but to be doing it all of the time and to be wasting this one life of 80 revolutions, like I can't respect the man that does that. I can't even call him a man.
True. And there's also another side to it, that some people, let's say, quote unquote, get out of the matrix one way or the other, at least in their mind. They say, you know what, I see the pattern, I've lived my life wrong, and I want this. And most of the time what I see with young guys is this idea of material success. You know what, I've got to do 50K. And why do I need 50K? I need the Rolex, I need the Patek, I need the car, I need to sit in a private jet, I need to do this, this, and this. Why? If they really ask why, it's for Instagram likes and to gain some sort of respect and clout. You don't have to do all of it. Not everybody's meant to be rich. Let's just be honest. They can be smart. Some people are not meant to be rich and live a certain lifestyle, but maybe you don't even want it. Have you asked yourself, why do I want it? If you want respect, maybe go do something else. Maybe be a professor or start a, I don't know, something like that, that you can gain respect, instead of going the exact same way that you saw on Instagram, TikTok. Oh, this guy's living that life, I should live that life too. And they do all this stuff, perpetually depressed while doing it. And sometimes they win, and they're like, why did I do that? You must have met the high net worth individual, like, I have all this money, I'm sad. They ran for the wrong goalpost and they hit the goal, but that they never wanted that shit.
Yeah.
There's also another part of that.
It's 100% true. I know, and we know, we've spoken many times to the same people. We know so many men that regret because if you're serious about goals, you can very, very, very much surprise yourself. If you're really serious about making goals, like you can fucking hit them. Like it doesn't matter if it's going to the gym. It doesn't matter if it's being a world-class athlete. Like, sure, is it for everyone? It's the same with money, right? Like, not everyone's cut. I'm not cut out to be a professional MMA fighter. I'm just not. I'm not. Does that mean that I'm going to stop training? No. But exactly. Me making money as a man it's exactly the same thing. Sure, you might not be the CEO, but you can be a CFO. Maybe you could be a CMO. Maybe you're the CTO, right? Like it doesn't really matter. But everyone's got their own talents. Everyone's got their own thing that they can do. And instead of just looking at the, hey, I need to just be at the top. Well, look, are you actually serious about it? Because to be the CEO is a fuck ton of stress. It's bullshit. Like most of the time, bro, it's garbage, right? Like the shit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. It's like, why is this even worth it? Like
exactly.
Most of the time it's not, but it's just like you were saying before, it's just something that we have that's just in the DNA. It's like I'm very, very, very grateful to have had all of the women that I've been with who have supported me along this, right? But most women that are there would not support you. Like right now, I've been working, I think, 4 months for anywhere between 11 to 16-hour days, just straight now.
Wow.
And my girlfriend's still there. She's still there. Like I don't know if that was on camera or not, but she came and just refilled me because she's that sweet. She's that caring. But it's most women would not support that, and most men need to realize that they can't support that either, right? Like you'll have health problems. You can't sleep. I wake up in the morning. I'm too fucking stressed, bro. I can't lay in bed.
Constant.
I can't lay in bed. Do you have this where you wake up in the morning and you're like, I need to see my fucking phone because I know there's going to be some bullshit.
That's part of climbing new mountains, bro. It's always going to be there. Now, your brain is, as smart as it is quite malleable. It is stupid and smart at the same time. You can get it addicted to anything you want. You can get addicted to bullshit. You can get addicted to stress and good things that comes with that kind of stress. You know, it's part of it. I don't, like I said in the beginning, I don't know any other way to function than the way I function currently. I mean, there are days that I completely feel lost. Absolutely. And I know that I'm self-aware to realize that, like, for example, there'll be 7 days of high productivity and then it's going to drop because I'm functioning at 100, 200% at that point. Everything is on fire. I'm going dinner. This is happening, podcast, blah, blah, blah. And then there'll be a dip. And that 2 days, I'll vanish. I will not even open Instagram. And I'll just sit there reconsidering all of that existential questions. Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm doing this for this. Maybe I'm not interested in this right now. But I have the balls enough to confront that question that comes up again and again. And that's very normal. But people would live in that particular downtime forever and cope with it saying bullshit to themselves.
Yeah. I think that's another thing as well, which we touched on the first part, which is, you know, knowing why, but it's also a constant reevaluation.
Absolutely, man.
Like
a missile always readjusts the target, and that's what we need to do. There's never like, I don't like this idea where people say, that's when I had this, and this was the moment I realized I will do this, and I did this. Like, what? That only works in movies.
Yeah.
I had to realign myself probably fucking 5,000 times in 20 years to get to where I am today. So there was never a path. There was a path. I didn't want to take that path. I want to do something extraordinary. And people misunderstand. There's like one thing that you do and then suddenly you make this 3 million and then suddenly your life is great. No. For most people, having a lot of money, they become a target. I know crypto dudes who complain and cry to me, I've entered OFGJ, Now girls only wanted to hang out with me to take their money. I've asked this money. I've people threatened me on messages like, you never were supposed to have money, bro. You look like a target. You look like a geek, like Tristan says. Your money was the biggest mistake you made.
And this is the thing as well. It's like money is an amplifier. Money is an amplifier, because I don't want to bring up your past, but I'll say this certainly about myself. Like this time last year, bro, I had 5 fucking girlfriends. 5. And I look back, I'm like, not only was that super disrespectful, all of them were amazing, beautiful women. Did everything they could for me. Incredible, each and every single one of them. But I look back and I'm like, man, do you know what? I was only giving, like, to each and every single one of them, I was only giving like fucking 20%. Because
time. It's scalable. It's a non-scalable model, man.
But it's not scalable, bro. It's not scalable.
That's it.
Like, how am I supposed to deal with all of this? But and that's another thing. A lot of the weight from those relationships, well, most of it was just purely fucking sexual. It was just garbage. You know, like, sure that I was there for them and blah blah blah, but I didn't care. I didn't care as much as I should have, and that's something I think as well, which is the other thing. Like, not only do you become a target if you have money, but it's also you yourself decide where you're going to shoot, right? And you have what is it, 18,400 minutes in a day, some garbage like that.
86,000, no, that's seconds. 86,400 seconds. I don't know the minutes.
Yeah, so something like that, right?
Yeah.
And what the fuck are you gonna do with them? Because they ain't coming back. Once a bullet leaves the chamber, bro, the bullet's left the chamber. It's on its way. It's on its way, right? I think too many guys, like you were saying, and just to go full circle on this, because this was the point. Too many guys are shooting without even looking at the target.
True. Very true. That's a great point. That'll make a good reel.
Yeah, good. But it's just that, right? Too many guys are shooting without even looking at the target in the first place. Because if you don't know where the bullet's going to go, if you have no destination, it's like driving a car, right? You can drive a car forever, but unless you have a destination, you can't get pissed off when you end up in Russia when you were just driving and you wanted to get to Saudi Arabia. Like, you can't get pissed off with that, bro.
Yeah.
But again, as you were saying, another thing is like it's like there's roadworks, right? There are obstacles that get in your way. The end result doesn't necessarily have to change, but sometimes you have to redirect, I think.
True. Always. And to most people, it's not going to work. So I've done that myself too, what I'm about to say, that you will say, okay, I'm going to do this. Let's say I'm going to start a content creation thing. I'm going to DM a few people. In 3 months, I will charge this and I'll do this. People overestimate the amount of time it takes to get to a financial goal or physical goal or whatever. It's probably 9 months. Right now, the question is, when you start something, there are 2 things that happen when you decide to do something with your life. First is the obvious cope, and you say, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm getting pushbacks. What if I fail? A lot of people stop at that. Then the second type of people, which is probably 20% of the population, will say, I'm just going to try it anyway. You know what, I'll try. And they get to the motions of it, and then they hit the wall. They get tiny improvements, and they hit the wall. And that's the enemy that they don't see. You got to already anticipate there's this turn coming or this roadblock coming. How do I jump over that? Before you even start doing it, you need to physically do a check and think like, okay, this is going to happen at this point. I'm going to give up. This is going to happen. Some birthday's coming up, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about losing weight. And then if you already can predict this is going to happen, and you can predict that I might get lazy after 2 months, or this issue, blah, 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 you can go around it. And it's probably going to take you 9 months, not 3 months. And people give up right at that center, 4 or 5 months. Maybe it doesn't work. I get it. Didn't work out. But you could branch out to something else. Okay, content creation didn't work. What if I'm good at copywriting? What if I can do Twitter ghostwriting for people? Stuff like that. There's always you can branch out to different things. But if you cannot predict the obstacles that come in your way, you're going to give up halfway through. That's why you will hear people say, I did this, I tried this diet, I didn't lose weight. I got into this job, sales job, I did this. I was okay, but the company was shit, or manager was shit, or the economy was shit.
No.
I stopped. Bro, it's gonna happen to everyone.
Yeah.
You didn't really scale the timeline.
You just called out so many people who are watching, because this is the thing as well. Like, so many people are like, right, look, I drank 2 liters of water today. Why have I not lost weight? It's like, hold on a second. Well, like, things do take time, right? We're not in fucking teleportation land where just all of a sudden, oh, I want to go to Mars. Okay, well, first, before you go to Mars, you need to build a rocket. Before you build a rocket, you need to learn how internal combustion works. Before you learn how internal combustion works, then you need, you know what I'm saying? It's everyone's so attached to the end result rather than the process. And sometimes the destination changes, because when you get closer to a destination, you're like, oh, actually, Saudi Arabia is kind of hot. Maybe I prefer Spain, where you know, it's not so hot. It's hot, you know, sometimes, but it's you change throughout life, and sometimes you're like, oh, well, you know what? I've had apples every single day.
Yeah.
Now I just kind of want to eat some pears. It's fine to change, right? It's fine to readjust. And I think the most powerful thing that most men don't do is the like you were saying, which is the readjusting of the course, and pre-planning. Like, you have to expect that because there's always going to be issues, and the fastest way from point A to point B is always a straight line. Always. Sure. But dude, there's always shit in the way, bro. And we normally get in our own way, right? We're driving, we're looking out the window, and we're like, oh, you know what?
Your own enemy. The biggest enemy is inside you, inside here.
Boom. It's just that. And the distractions as well, right? The distractions, the mindless garbage distractions that we allow ourselves to attach to, like the TikToks, right? Like the Instagrams, like other men that you don't even know, and you're sat there and you're cheering for them, and you're living vicariously through them. It's garbage. The whole thing is just nonsense.
Right. On that topic, I'm going to say something that might piss off a lot of people. I don't understand the enthusiasm people have for sports, especially things like football. I genuinely don't understand it. Like, I had a tweet about it a couple of months ago when the World Cup was over. There was madness everywhere. My team, blah, blah, blah. I won. This happened. I'm so proud. People are marching. FIFA made $7.5 billion just hosting World Cup. The total revenue, there were 34 teams, I think, football teams. $434 million were distributed. The top 2 team got, I think, around $100 million plus something. The winning team and the second winning team got slightly different. But the rest of the team, including the 34th team that got kicked out, they are still, each of those players are still going to make close to $300,000. Everybody in that team. The money's split like that. Do you see your name on the list, Mr. Fan? Your name is never on the list. I understand you watch it for entertainment, which is fine, but getting so emotionally riled up, like, getting into fights and spending your money to watch it and just getting so emotionally touched, I don't understand. Yes, they are your countrymen, true, but you're not them. The thing that, oh, we won. No, they won. They are the super athletes. You are a fat belly dude drinking beer who can't even do 10 push-ups. You're not the same, bro. You're not part of the team, brother. I don't understand.
Let me just pour my beer away. I feel terrible now, bro. I feel bad. At least I'm not a football fan. No. At least I'm not a football fan.
I don't get it. Oh, Messi this, Ronaldinho this. Bro, these people are loaded with money. They're not sharing your money. They're giving their money away. Why are you so emotionally? Because people have back in the day, go to military, fight for your country, right? That was kind of the thing, mission. You get mentally attached to it, fine, whatever, right? But now it's stuff like this. Girls on OnlyFans, sim for them, pay them money. I've heard stories about what people do. And then
don't bring up my ones.
Yeah, sports matches, getting emotionally involved, this and that. I don't understand, because you don't have a mission in life and do something worthwhile to do. You attach yourself to such frivolous nonsense, and then you build your identity around it.
That's going to be a very nice shot.
Yeah, that's going to be nice, real. I know.
that one's going to be beautiful. But it's true, and I posted as well when I think it was also when the football World Cup was happening. I was saying I was sat there and I was in a bar because my Wi-Fi went out. And I was like, fuck, now I had to go out and I had to work outside. It's like a Wednesday night, and it was fucking 10 o'clock here. I'm sat there and I'm working. I've got my headphones in so no one can distract me. I'm not listening to anything. I've just got my headphones in so that no one comes up and fucking tries to talk to me, right? But it's, and I think I uploaded it to my Instagram. It was just a video of all of these dudes, just dudes, men, sat there screaming at a television.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are these men fucking doing? Number one, you don't know the dude. I get it. Look, if you go and box, or if someone goes and boxes, who's a brother of mine, yeah, you're damn right. I'm going to be fucking screaming and shouting for my bro in the corner, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
I don't care how much money it takes. Yeah, fine, I will be there because I know and I love that person and I support that person. But bro, it's the dude that you don't know. You're never going to meet. And you're sat there screaming and shouting and getting pissed off with the other guy who's screaming and shouting, doing exactly the same fucking thing for the other team. And now you want to fight that guy and put yourself in physical harm's way. What the fuck are these people? What's wrong with them?
I know. But that's a norm, bro. That is a norm. Like, you go and ask these people question, you are the weirdo. Like, what are you even saying? You're strange. Fuck off. That's what they will tell you. But I think deep down they know it. But like I said, they have nothing worthwhile to connect themselves to. So attach themselves to stuff like this. What else are they going to do? Go back to their miserable life? So they have to attach themselves to something valuable. And plus, if 10 of your boys are watching England playing, you're not watching. You're at home, so you want to run away because you don't like your miserable life. What are you going to do? You're going to not, basically go attach yourself to those men. And like, yeah, now I'm a football fan. And then it gets into your mind. It's just, like Sterling said, the cycle of uselessness continues.
Yep, it's this cycle of absolute garbage nonsense. And the only way to break it is by becoming self-aware and better with yourself and by planning. Like, look, because you can't arrive at the end destination without knowing. Like, look, like it's like living life without a GPS, right? Like you want to go from the Palm Jumeirah to the Burj Al Arab. Okay, I know that I need to take the right on the highway. Then I'm going to need to take this exit. Then you can memorize it, fine. You can memorize it, but then what happens when you're like, oh shit, that building looks cool. Fuck, now I've just missed the highway. Cool. What do you do in those moments where because most young men, they'll get their list, their to-do list, and then they'll be like, fuck, bro, AJ, I didn't hit this one thing. I said that I was going to be on TikTok to study for like 15 minutes, like content creation or something. But oh shit, bro, I've just spent an hour on TikTok. Now I've just lost the whole thing. So now I can't go and go back to the exit, right? I can't go back to the exit to get back on track to where I wanted to be. Those people just carry on driving. They're like, well, fuck it. If I've just lost, if I've just missed the exit, I'm not going to take the next one. I'll just carry on driving. What would you say to someone who does that, who loses that I guess, forward momentum, or who gets a little bit lost, what would you say to those guys?
The interesting thing is, most people don't even realize they lost exit. They keep driving, bro. They're like, yeah, another new thing. Let me look at that building. They keep driving, right? So again, accepting the fact that you messed up, you fucked up, you took the wrong turn. It's heavy. Most people don't want to deal with it. But like I said earlier, before you do anything, you need to put in place the idea, at least in your mind, that, okay, I might do certain things wrong, or this might happen. And if you're ready, like if you're going for dinner at 10 and you understand that it takes me 20 minutes to get to this place, but you also put in extra 5-10 minutes, maybe there's no parking, who knows, it's a busy night, maybe there's an accident, let me just leave 40 minutes early because it's important to me. Either way, you're either going to reach 10 minutes early or on time, no matter what happens. So people don't even put that into their lives, saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, these are the issues that might happen, I need to be self-aware. Okay, let me put that into my equation. People don't do it. People will, this is all problem with watching someone do something and it kind of looks cool, so I just want to do the same thing. When they make to-do lists and goals, people don't really dig down and deep down and ask, why do I want it? Why is this important to me? Right? Because if you look at 5 of your top goals and you really dig down and ask yourself and truly honest to yourself, why do I want it? And then you come to a conclusion, you know what, out of the 5, actually only 2 of them matter to me. Like Warren Buffett has said this example. I read this somewhere many, many years ago. He had his pilot, and Warren Buffett, well, this was like, I think 20 years ago. His private jet pilot said, I have things I want to do. So what do you recommend? So Warren Buffett said, make a list of the top 50 things or 30 things you want to do, your goals. And he sat down, intensely wrote it down and gave it to Warren Buffett, like, these are the things. And he said, you know what, scratch all the 27, stick to those 3. What are those 3? These things. That's your goal. Rest is all bullshit.
Yeah.
So those 2 things has to be put in your equation before you do any of those things. You got to ask yourself, why does this goal matter? Why does our watch matter? Why does our car matter? Why does making 10K matter? Obviously, money, taking survival, apart from the survival, why does that matter to me? Okay, maybe this, maybe I want respect, maybe I want something else. And then you ask yourself, okay, if I'm going through this journey, why do I want to take this journey? What issues will I face? What do I don't know? I ask this question to myself, what don't I see? What am I not seeing? Because 99% of the time, I'm not seeing those things. And that's where I fuck up.
Yeah.
But if I kind of understand what I don't see, that's great. You can have that with the right brothers and friendship and groups in place, or mentor in place. That's a great way to catalyst your way to success. Or you have to just think it through. Research, listen to people like you. There are good examples, and understand these things. Does that make sense?
Perfect. I hope if anyone doesn't understand that, you're probably beyond help. You're probably beyond help. Like, that was such a beautiful analogy and continued analogy as well. But yeah, it's a lot of it's just noise, right? I think too many guys, there's they have too many things going on, right? And yeah. In order to quiet the noise, you need to sit down with yourself, just like AG said, and you need to sit down with yourself every once in a while. Have a fucking check-in with yourself. Some people will be like, "Oh, well, that sounds gay." Well, yeah, all right, fine. If it's gay, then I'm fucking, call me trans. I don't give a shit, right? Like, well, you need to check in with yourself, man. You need to check in with yourself, and if you don't, you're never gonna realize where you're gonna end up. And I think on that part, because I know that you're busy, it kind of leads to a beautiful conclusion, which is, if you do want to end up in a good place, just fucking make sure that you guys follow the 1% podcast, because it's I'm gonna link everything for AG's socials. Everything is going to be down in the description below. But any, I guess, last passing words to the viewers?
Yeah, if I want to say something from my own life, I would say everything you're thinking in your head about yourself or your situation, what you want to do, most of it is going to be garbage. You are your own enemy in 99% of the situation. Understand that dark force lives inside you. Once you understand that dark force lives inside you, you kind of circumvent a lot of issues that can happen in the future. Understand that there are forces outside of you and forces inside of you preventing you doing anything. And it is going to be hard. You are not ready for it. That's all that'll all exist, but you still have to understand why some things are more important to you. Analyze, be self-aware, get around the right circles of brotherhood, bring the right people within your circle, and live truthfully to yourself. There is an element of masculinity which has a lot of conquest built inside you. You got to be honest to yourself that you want to conquer this and this and this. Don't let anybody push you down on that aspect. Be ambitious. Have that conquest mindset. Have the right people around you. And whatever you're going to do, in the scale of time of 10 years, you're going to achieve it. Whether that's making $50,000 a month or $500,000, you're going to achieve it. You will end up somewhere. Whether it might not be the 50K, but you might build a certain level of influence and brotherhood that can take you to 5 million. So play life as a game, not as an A to B. There's always other ways to go, but you got to start. And to start, you have to believe in yourself in a way, and also make sure you make the right moves. That's what I want to say. There you go.
Perfect. Beautiful. Brother, very much appreciate the time. I'll chat to you for a second afterwards, obviously. But for you guys that want to follow, links in the description. Make sure that you guys just obviously comment what was your biggest takeaways, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. And again, thank you very much, brother.
Absolutely, though.